welcome to the Bianca Marie Travel Podcast first episode. I am super excited for all the things I have planned for this podcast. There are so many fun things coming. I cannot wait for you to hear them. But before we get started, let me explain a little bit about what this podcast will be, what you can expect, who am I, and what we have coming up. I cannot wait for you to hear what we've got for you. Also, if you would like to watch this instead of just listening to it, I will also have an entire YouTube stream just for the video version of this podcast. Not everybody wants to listen, and sometimes, you just want to watch instead. So I have it under Bianca Marie Travel Podcast on YouTube. So don't forget to go subscribe and support this channel. But either way, let's get started. So this podcast is all based on my knowledge as a Disney travel agent. Okay, so that's my puppy in the background. Sorry if you hear jingling. That's my fluffy boy Mello. So I just wanted to get on here real quick and give you guys a quick rundown of what you can expect from this podcast. So as a Disney travel agent, it's my job to stay on top of all things Disney, right? And as well as having tips and tricks for you guys that you can utilize in your next Disney trip and keep you up to date on all the changes that are constantly coming out of Disney. So since it's my job to stay on top of that anyways, I thought it would be really fun to have somewhere to share it with people. So I have my blog, biancamareetravel.com, and that is one way that I help people. I have tons of blog posts coming out all the time that talk just specifically about, the different branches of Disney and tips and tricks and things like that to help you have the most valuable vacation you can. And so since I have that, but not everybody wants to read blog posts, right? So then I have my video forms, which is Bianca Marie Travel at YouTube. So I have videos on there that I go through all the different tips, tricks, advice, updates with new news coming out of Disney. Like right now, they're changing their masks mandates as well as spacing between people and all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff's on there, the best strollers for Disney, all that kind of stuff is all on my Bianca Marie Travel YouTube. But I wanted another option, right? It's not going to be the same content, which is nice. So it's not like this is the same content that will also then be on my YouTube. This will be a separate channel that I will be able to share you unique ideas and experiences. I plan on having a few guest hosts on here in a few weeks that can talk about their experiences at Disney, as well as things that they didn't expect to run into, that they kind of challenges that they didn't expect that they then had to overcome, and how they overcame them, so that you guys can utilize that knowledge as well. So I have that planned on the deck of things for us to talk about, as well as next week. I cannot wait. Stay tuned. Next week we will be talking about what a Disney travel agent is, because there's a lot of confusion about that. I've heard from many people and many clients even that say they had no idea what was the point, right? You could just go to disney.com and book it all yourself. They didn't understand what the value was in a Disney travel agent. So I really wanted to have a week where I just talked about it and kind of gave you guys an idea of what we do, because it is a bit confusing when you hear we're free. You're like, well, then what is in it for you? And how do you really help me, right? So we'll have a whole podcast next week all about that specifically, so that you have a better understanding what in the world we do and how we get paid. That will be in there too, just to help you guys understand. If you see me looking down on the video, I'm just checking my notes here because I want to stay on track, because if anybody knows me personally, I can rabbit trail. I end up on 30 different topics, and that's not what we're here for, right? So what to expect, you will have from tips, tricks, experiences, and the latest Disney news. That's what this podcast will be all about. It'll be all things Disney to help you have the most magical vacation on your next visit. What do I do? So as I've said a few times already, actually, got ahead of myself. I am a Disney travel agent. I'm a mom of 2. I have my daughter, Sophia, who's 8, my son, Owen, who's 3, and we just went to Disney a few weeks ago. So it is my job as a Disney travel agent to stay up on all of the Disney news, all of the Disney rides coming out, all the different policies that they've got headed our way, as well as new things. Like, I'm so excited, you guys. The Disney Wish is coming. I would like to be on the inaugural sailing, but I just don't know. We'll see. I've got a few more days. I am a silver cast member, which is basically if you have, I think, 5 or less sailings. So if you don't know, we'll have a whole thing on Disney Cruise Line later because they're amazing, by the way. But they have different levels. So they'll have, cast silver castaway, platinum, gold, all the different levels. And the more sailings you have, the higher platinum cast member, whatever level you are, the earlier you can book on these new itinerary releases. So because I'm just a silver castaway member, because I've only sailed a few, I can access it before the general public, but I can't access it early as I would like. So my date to be able to book the inaugural Disney Wish will be the 27th of May. So it's the 16th right now. Sorry, that's my puppy barking. Hold on 1 second. So I can't book mine until the 27th, but you best believe I'm going to try. If they're not sold out, I want a veranda room. That's going to be fun. I cannot wait. Of course, I'm concerned with COVID, and we'll see what happens. I believe it's for next summer, so we've got a bit of time. I'm hoping by then, things have calmed down a bit. We'll see. But I definitely want to get on the booking list if I can, because you only have to put down a deposit. So you don't have to put down the full amount. I'm guessing it'll probably be a few thousand as the total amount for me and my 2 kiddos. Worth every penny, let me tell you. We'll have a whole talk about that another time. That'll be another podcast. But anyways, that's what I do. I book travel for everyone else who loves Disney as well or wants to experience Disney with their family. So that is what I do. I help people. I mean, we'll go more into this next podcast about what exactly it is that Disney Travel Agent does. But essentially, it's my job to go experience Disney, see everything Disney, go to all their different restaurants, go to all their different parks, go to their different cruise lines, their different ships, go into the different resorts and check them all out for you guys so that I have the best recommendation when you tell me what you need. For example, if I have a family that has 2 toddlers, right? They have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they come to me and they say, Bianca, I want some amazing vacation, but I'm concerned about taking these kids into the parks. I can easily take my knowledge that I've accumulated over the last 10 years, easy since I've been a travel agent, but 20 years since I've been at Disney. It's been a lot longer than that. That I can say really quickly with all of my knowledge exactly what I think would be their best bet at having a magical vacation. Right now, it's a little trickier because of all of the different closures and procedures and things. So in a normal world, before the pandemic, I would have told them, take a Disney cruise. If you have a child, I would say younger than 3 or younger than 4, take the Disney cruise. It's magical. You get to see all the characters without waiting in line. You have all kinds of amazing things to do there, but most importantly, they have kids clubs. They have adult-only sections on the boat, so you get time by yourself. I had to peel my daughter out of the kids club, and they have a nursery. The nursery is paid. You have to pay for that, but it's only $9 an hour, worth every single penny. It's just magical. It's just so much of a more relaxing experience. So if they tell me they want to have a relaxing Disney experience, I would easily suggest the cruise, because you have shows and magical dinners and there's just so many awesome things. Right now there's no sailings, so I would suggest that they get booked on a sailing for next year. That's what I would suggest, because right now the parks just aren't exactly beneficial for little bitties because they don't have fast passes at all right now. So you have to stand in line for every single ride that you want to ride, which means potentially hours in line, which is not fun for a 2-year-old. And then you don't have your stroller because you're in line. So they're just sitting on the floor having a fit. That's basically what happens. And so it's not exactly the best thing. Alternatively, though, if I had a family that had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, I would say go ahead and go to Disney. The cruises are still amazing. Don't get me wrong; those they have amazing kids clubs that they do all these different activities, and they have guest appearances from all the different characters inside the kids club while they're there. They have a kids club 3 to 12. Then they have a tweens. I think it's like 13 to 15. Then they have a teenagers lounge from 15 to 18. So they have everything for all ages. So don't count out the Disney cruise. But I would definitely say for right now that maybe I would say 6-year-old and up right now because of the standing in the line for every single ride. The kids just are going to have meltdowns. It's just going to happen. That happens at Disney anyways, but it's definitely more more likely to happen now since there's no fast passes, which I'll keep you guys up to date on that. As soon as I hear directly from Disney that they are bringing those back, I will let you know because that will change the game again. So, if you have littles and you want to go to Disney, then you can absolutely get your trip on the books for next year when they will most likely have that fast pass back. So it's not to say that you can't book it, but this is what I'm here for, right? And then even more specifically, you can tell me what kind of vacation you're looking for, and then I can quickly go through and find resorts that will match your needs, right? If you want to have more of a family experience with really fun, water slides and things for you to do at that resort, I will have that list for you. And I'll have a couple options for you to pick from, whereas opposed to you having to go on to Disney and look for 4, 5, 6 hours at all the different resorts and all the different things they have in options, and the proximity to the different parks and all that kind of stuff. That's what I do, so you don't have to, right? I know everything Disney, so you don't have to know everything Disney. That's pretty much my job. I can also help you with advanced dining reservations and all kinds of other things. But that's next week's podcast, not this week's podcast. So that's what I do. I help everyone have a magical vacation. I tailor it to their experience. I also provide them with all kinds of tailor-made tips, tricks, advice, and things to keep them having the best trip imaginable, as well as all my little secrets that I use on my trips. So that's what I do. Oh, you guys, that was a lot. Sorry. I try to keep it short, but Lord knows I'm not good at that. I'm not good at making things short. My parents can attest to that. But anyways, stay tuned for next week. I can't wait to kind of get into the grits a little bit with you guys about what exactly a Disney travel agent does, what I do personally, and how I get paid, because that's a good question that a lot of people have. They're very confused when I say I'm free, and they're like, well, but how do you get paid? So I have a whole thing coming up next week. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening or watching if you're watching on the YouTube podcast. I will see you guys next week. Have a magical day. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you real soon.